Shalakim, Yahweh Bashim Ashai, Bashim Kokodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharala, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to go ahead and get into some stock market, or just the market in general, overview. And we're going to show you how this market is ready to collapse, right? And this is actually biblical. But let's go and read this first so you can see what I'm talking about. This is Ecclesiastes 12:3. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in thee, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. Right? And that's what's happening now. Let's go and break this down real quick. So right here, the Bible's giving all of us a warning. Now when I say all of us, I'm talking about the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, and anybody whose father's lineage goes back to that bloodline. Now, what it's telling you here is that you got to turn to the Lord as soon as you can. Right? Don't wait until you're all old and on your deathbed about to die off. Right? Now, what is this? What is the Bible warning us to do? Well, it's telling us to turn to the Lord and seek salvation. Right? Seek to come back to the truth, to not be destroyed. Right? Because you see, what's happened is that the Lord has cast us away. Us Israelites, He's cast us away, and we are till this day in our captivity, as the scriptures say, right? Yes, we may be, free to here in America or whatever country you're in, right? We're able to go buy a Big Mac or buy a house, a car, right? Go out in the middle of the night. But the thing is you're still under captivity, except for that the prison is a really big prison, and the bars on your cell are invisible, right? They're invisible, right? The mental shackles that are upon our people today are the things that make you think that you're free, right? But that's a whole other lesson. But we're not going to get into that. But see, the thing is that the Lord is now telling us to come back and seek the truth. Now that truth is that that we are Israelites, and that we need to stop following the ways of Babylon the Great, and we need to turn back to the ways of the Bible, the ways that the Bible tells us how we should be living. Now, it also gives us a warning of what will happen in that time when towards the end, right? It tells you here, it says, in the days that the keepers of the house shall tremble. Now, what does that mean? That means that the people who are currently keeping this house, right? Who are holding the reins of Babylon the Great, right? And who would that be? That would be the nation of these Caucasians, right? What the Bible refers to as the nation of Edom. Now, they currently are looking at the stock market, right? Here's an article. Let's go and find it real quick. That shows you the stock market is as they termed it here, in La La Land, man. It is not working the way it's supposed to work and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and read what it says. It says the stock market leverage in La La Land rises to historic WTF high, right? See, because the people, the keepers of the house, right, the stock market, in this case, they can't understand what's actually happening. They can't fathom that the stock market is doing what it's doing, right? And for a lot of you out there, if you don't understand, the stock market is pretty much the head of the economic engine here in America, okay? As the stock market goes, so goes the economy. Now, yes, you have the rest of the economy like in shit, but everything is still churning and going on. Things are still being purchased and being sold, as long as this stock market keeps churning. Okay, and the reason is because it's the owners of the stocks, the companies that are invested into the market, that this is where they make and lose their money. Okay, and this is what purchases the vast amounts of quantities of items that get stocked onto the shelves, that get purchased, as resources that get purchased so that way they can be turned into products and sold and all that stuff, right? Once the stock market goes, the whole economy is going to follow. Now, if you've been following the economic news, you understand that the stock market is no longer doing what it's been doing for the last couple of years. Okay, now what's been happening is that through these cycles of boom and bust, where people will buy and then all of a sudden sell, it's been getting worse and worse. Okay, now let's go and read what it says here. It says, Archegos shows how leverage is the great accelerator of stock prices on the way up and on the way down. One of its bets, Viacom CBS, after skyrocketing, collapsed by 60%. Right, and this right here, what this basically means is that there's this company, Archegos, right, that basically shows how stock markets, you could buy a stock, right, and as long as the market wants it to go good or wants it to succeed, that stock will skyrocket, right? Meaning anybody who has bought into it will make tons and tons of money, right? Because it skyrockets in price. But this guy showed here, or this company showed how after it was purchased, as predicted, it fell, right? And it fell down, it collapsed 60%. Now, what does this mean? This means that the market no longer is a real market, that it no longer rises and falls with real market value, right? Like it doesn't, like a value of a stock won't rise up because because a lot of people go and buy those products, and that company now is far richer and far more popular. No, the reason why stocks now rise and fall is because you got a lot of speculators in the market. Now, what does that mean? That means that a lot of people are playing the market to make money, right? And when somebody here, and you've all heard of this, I'm sure some of you Akim out there are actually involved in some of this, man, because what happens is, and it's funny. Well, what happens is that a stock gets mentioned, right? Like it's a good buy, right? And what happens is the whole market runs and starts purchasing up that stock, and that stock market goes up. But it goes up because people are just purchasing it to make money off of it, right? It doesn't go up because it's a good investment, it's a good company, it makes good products, and it's going to be around for a long time. So what happens is, after a while, after people have purchased it and the people who got in early have now made money off of it, what do? They sell it off because they don't need to hold it, right? And when they start selling it off, all the other speculators, all the other people who have purchased it to make money off of the buying and selling of stock, now sell it, and that stock market, or that stock, now crashes, right? Well, that's exactly what's been going on for these last few years, right? And that right there is pretty much a dead economy. Now, the reason why I mentioned this, and another reason why I mentioned that maybe a lot of you Akim are actually involved in this, is because there was this is just one of the hallmark indicators of a huge economic collapse. And the way that we could see this is that when you go back into the Weimar Republic, right, the German country known as Weimar, before it, basically before the Nazis came into power, right? This is after World War I. Germany basically was destroyed as an economy. You couldn't, inflation was rampant. You had to basically, to buy bread, you had to take a literal wheelbarrow full of cash to go buy it, right? this is like one of the worst examples of inflation. Now one of the hallmark signs of the Weimar Republic is that before this collapse, everybody, including like the taxi drivers, the horse, drivers and stuff like that, everybody was involved in the stock market. Everybody was looking for a quick buck, right? Now look what's going on with our economy here in Babylon the Great. Everybody is involved in the stock market, man, right? I've heard some of the Akim talk about, getting into using Robinhood, right? Getting into that, which is fine, right? Because if you can make your money off of the system, then make it, man. Believe this beast till it's dead. Make your money wherever you can, Akim. But the point being is, this is one of the indicators that the stock market is no longer doing what it's supposed to be doing. That now it's a speculative market, right? And this speculation has gone over to the cryptocurrencies. Okay, this is why a lot of the money on Bitcoin are all speculative, man, right? Because the real value of one Bitcoin is only about like $80 to $120, and that right there is based off of the amount of electricity that it takes to process the secure code that the Bitcoin is literally made out of. Okay, the SSL certificate, as what it's technically referred to. Okay, now that being said, everybody's jumping onto these Bitcoins because not only is it a speculative market, but because also Bitcoin has become the new virtual gold, right? It is a store for wealth. Okay, and what I mean by that is right now, if you have your money saved in dollars, right, your $1,000, let's say you got $1,000, okay, in the bank. Well, in about, let's go back to 2001 when all this bullshit started happening. Okay, that $1,000 in the bank back in 20 years ago is now worth less today than it was back in 2001, because the prices of everything that you're purchasing now with it have gone up. And now here's how this devil Esau works, man. It's not that everything is going up in value, okay? It's that your $1,000 is now worth less, okay? Plain and simple. And that's what we're seeing here in this example. Now let's go and read a little bit more about this. It says, Archaeologos is an example of how leverage operates. It creates enormous buying pressure and drives up prices as leverage builds. And when prices decline, the leverage bets blow up as forced selling sets. And there you go. See, basically what I just mentioned. Okay. Now let's read this. It says, FINRA reported on Friday that margin debt jumped another $9 billion to $823 billion in March, having soared by $163 billion in 5 months, and having exploded by 72% from March 2020 and by 51% from February 2020 to historic what the fuck highs, right? And take a look at this, man. Look how much the market has gone up and down. Okay, now what you're seeing here is basically the up spikes are purchasing, how much everybody starts purchasing stuff in the market, and the down spikes are sell-offs. Okay, now take a look at this last spike, man. This red spike, look how big it is, man. Everybody is going crazy, man, and trying to make money off of all the money that they have left, right? Let's read here. It says, Archaeos is an example of how leverage is a great accelerator of stock prices on the way up and on the way down. Its massive bets on a handful of stocks powered by huge leverage drove up prices of those stocks because it created buying pressure with borrowed money, right? And that's another thing too, right? These devils who are buying up these stocks, they're not even doing it with their own money, right? Which means they have to pay that money back. And when they pay that money back, that's when they have to sell, right? That's one of the little reasons why the whole Reddit Wall Street Bets is beating the shit out of a lot of these stock hedge funds, because these capital investment funds, is because it's their own money, which means they don't have to pay back their money. So they're buying that GameStop stock and they're just holding on to it. They don't have to sell. They're not being forced to sell it. So what's happening is all these other these hedge funds that are betting that they're going to have that the price of GameStop is going to fall are losing their shirts, man, because the Reddit people, they don't have to sell. Like there's a term there called diamond hands, right? Or hold till the moon or some shit like that, right? And that's because they're basically just keeping their money in that stock. Now they're doing it for spite and to destroy these people, but ultimately what that is doing is showing how this stock market is a very fickle system, right? It's all smoke and mirrors for the most part, right? And this just shows you how fragile this economy is, and that's ultimately what I wanted to show you, Akim, is just show you how bad this economy that everybody is depending on, you know, is, man. Like, you know, this is why we all go to work. This is why, you know, everything is being done, man. The way it is in this economy, right? How the system works the way it does, and well, let's go ahead and continue to read. It says, while we don't know how much total stock market leverage there is, we can. Salaki, I'm actually driving right now, and I just passed by a accident. Looks like a Jake he's facing the wrong way in the street right now or in the freeway right now because him or somebody plowed into a van. All right, Salaki. Well, let's get back to this. It says, while we don't know how much total stock market leverage there is, meaning they don't know how much of the actual purchasing of the stocks that recently have gone through that have created that spike, they don't know how much of that is speculation or just temporary purchases, which I bet you it's almost all of it. We can look at margin debt as a measure of the trend, and the trend has reached whopper proportions. History shows that a big surge in margin balances preceded and perhaps was a precondition for the biggest stock market declines. All right, and look at this, man. Look at this, Akim. I can't even show you the whole thing. Let's go down to the bottom and start from the beginning to the left, right? Back in 1999, man. Remember when we had those little, the bad stock market crash in 2002? The economy was going bad with Bill Clinton and shit, man. And I think that was Bill Clinton. But remember, he was there to try to help the economy, right? Then again in 2008 when you had the what was it, the housing collapse and stuff, right? And remember that was bad. A lot of people lost their or I'm sorry, let's go back, right? The dot-com burst, right? That's when everybody lost their jobs over there in the internet companies. Then you had the financial crisis of 2008, which was the housing market bubble collapse, right? But look at the soaring of the stock market since then, man, right? Look at that. There's been no real large economic bust, man. You know, you did have something in 2020, right? Last March, when this whole C-19 pandemic started, right? This was a cause for the market to panic and to sell off, and that's what caused the economy to go so bad, and this is what caused a lot of people to lose their jobs. But look how much the market has grown since, man. We have almost doubled the speculation costs since 2018, right? So this shows you that the economy is about to fucking collapse and everything, okay? Now let's go and read a little more, right? I said we'll just read the highlighted parts. It says, that's also a feature of leverage. The first out of the door pockets the gains and gets away unscathed. Late movers get crushed. And again, this all happens. This is what I was talking about, that when those people that go in and rush into a stock market to purchase, they you know, when everybody else comes in and starts buying that thing, well, when they sell off, they make all the money. Now the people who sell off at the end, they lose all their money. Okay, that's that whole idiom, you know, buy low, sell high. That's what that ultimately means, right? And we'll just read this right here at the end. It says, and since everyone knows this, everyone is trying to get out of the door first, which is not possible, but it speeds up sell-off, right? And so ultimately what that means is that we're going to start seeing these huge rises and these huge dips. And it's going to happen more frequently, right? Remember when you started seeing like Popeyes selling that chicken sandwich, and remember their stock market price went like crazy? Like, see, that was all part of this, right? You have all these speculators that have all this fake money, right? That is made off of speculation, all trying to look where they could move their money next to make the most money, right? It's going back and forth, in and out of every stock, right? And this is very bad for the economy, right? It says, among the type of stock market leverage, in addition to margin debt, the derivative products such as the swap and sink archegos, portfolio-based lending, and securities-based loans, every broker knows what they have on their books, presumably, but they don't know what the other brokers have on their books, and no one knows the total, and no one knows just how leveraged the markets are, right? And that's that scripture, man, that when the keepers of the house shall tremble. That's what's happening now, man. Everybody is worried that this economy is going to collapse, and that's exactly where this economy is going to do. It's going to eventually collapse, right? And these large rises and plummets are just an indication of how much closer we are to seeing that happen. And again, this is all biblical. It tells you here in Revelations 6 and 5. Let's read it. This is Revelation 6 and 5. And when he had opened the third seal, and I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances on his hand. Now, balances are those things, those old weighing measurements, right? Where you would put a certain type of weight on one side, and then you would put coin or something other stuff on some other side, right? They were measures, okay? It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil or the wine, right? And that's exactly what's happening, man. You're getting this market is now, this economy of the world is now going to be destroyed, okay? This big collapse that we will eventually go into, it's not happening yet, but we're seeing it, right? This is why you're now starting to see the news media talk more about inflation, right? This is why wood, if you're into building, if you're into going to Home Depot, you're seeing that wood is almost doubled in price now, right? Because you're going to start seeing the rise in resources before you start seeing it in finished products, okay? So if you want to go buy milk, eggs, oranges, wood, right? Basically resources, things like that, then you're going to notice the increase in prices is higher, man. And so, pretty much welcome to Venezuela, people. This is what Venezuela had to go through, and this is where we're gonna be experiencing all that shit that Venezuela experienced, man. You're gonna start seeing women out here fairly soon selling their themselves for a fucking sandwich, right? Now, that being said, we've all known this, right? We know that the economy is going to go out, but this is just an indicator to show you, man, that this is actually the way it happens, man. This is prophecy literally playing out in front of our eyes, right? So as the whole world is scrambling to make a buck, scrambling to stay afloat, right? Us here, the men of Israel, right? The prophets of the Lord have been telling you people that this is what's going to happen. So for those who have been watching these videos, listening to these words, understanding the prophecy, this isn't a surprise to us, right? We understand that this has happened. Now, that being said, what did the Lord tell us to do, right? He said to return and to repent, right? And to pay attention, right? And why do we got to pay attention? Well, because we have to prepare and make sure that we're okay during this time. Now, this is 1 Timothy 5 and 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel. Okay? So with all this information that you have, Akim, right, just as the Bible tells you, man, it tells you, it says, who lighteth a candle and hideth it under a bushel, right? This is the same thing, man. You have all this information. You have basically the insider trading tip on what's going to happen with the economy, okay? Now, I know it's a little crazy. Like, what do you actually do with all this information, right? You know the economy is going to collapse. You know that we're going to go into martial law. You know that World War III is going to break out. You know that these devils are going to try to make a mandatory out of this RFID mark of the beast that will come soon, right? Well, what you do is you hide yourself. You need to prepare to weather out this storm, okay? And it tells you here in the scripture, right, that you got to provide for your own and for your family if the Lord has blessed you with a family. Now, what does that mean? That means that you got to, put your money in a safe place. Now, where is the safe place for your money? Well, the easiest and most safest place for your money is in real life assets, man. A house, a business that you know that will survive the collapse, right? Things that could provide like farming, things like that, right? If you can't purchase any of those type of things, man, then you put your money into an asset that won't devalue, right? And those are gold and silver, like the apostles have been telling you, man, right? You can go to apmex.com, right? Apemex, right? This is a website that does great selling of silver and gold, like little, like 1 ounce, you can buy it at a time, right? That's what you should go do. Go buy yourself some silver and gold, right? This is like one of the easiest and low value ways that you can save your money. So that money that you have in savings, I'm not saying take all your monies out of the bank and put it into this stuff, right? Either buy a house or buy something that's gonna be of value during these bad times, right? But I'm saying take some of it, right? Like it says here, like it says, provide not for his own, right? So you got to provide for yourself in these bad times are going to come, Akim, right? Now, if you're unsure of what you should buy, look up right now videos of the Venezuela collapse, okay? Watch what happened over there. Now, listen to what those people said, right, man? They were basically starving. They were starving. That's like the number one thing, man. They didn't care about the latest iPhones. They didn't care about the latest shoes, right? They don't care about that shit, man. They cared about food and a way to make themselves. So again, ultimately, what you'd want to do is get some type of land, right? And I'm not talking get some land to try to make yourself a mansion, to try to make yourself, all wealthy and secure. I'm just saying get yourself some land, because what's going to happen in the future when you can't pay your rent and stuff like that, you instead of being kicked out of an apartment, you want to be in some place that's secure, man. You want to be on a piece of property if you can. If you can't buy property, buy yourself some gold and silver, right? Prepare yourself. Get together with some Akim, right? And basically just start finding ways to survive and stuff like that, right? Of the coming economy, when the economy basically just exits and leaves, okay? Because it's going to be hard to get gas. It's going to be hard to buy things in the market, right? Things are still going to be able to be purchased, but they're going to be maybe, think of it, 4-8 times as expensive as they are now, right? Meaning that you're going to have either gold or silver that you're going to be able to trade for it, because that's going to, gold and silver is going to increase in value, right? Or you're going to have a job that is economic resistance. And what does that mean? That means that you need to be involved in like these low-level jobs, man, like farming, transportation, of crucial goods, man, right? So things like that. This is Isaiah 55:6. Seek ye Yahweh Bashim Ashai while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Okay, and that's right now, Akim, right? Even though we're seeing the economy on the verge of collapsing, on the verge of giving up its soul, these are still, not the evil days. The evil days are going to come after the collapse comes, after the martial law gets initiated, man. This is the time. This is really the time that everybody needs to start turning back to the Lord, man. or else you're gonna basically be, caught out there with your pants down, man, and you're gonna be destroyed. Right? So hopefully this video was edifying. Hopefully it was eye-opening. Hopefully it gave you some food for thought. And till the next time, Akim, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Dash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.